Welcome to the caffeine entrance, as always. I always forget how in your face that is. Good morning on a Saturday, 11 o'clock here on the East Coast. I think it's like 4 a.m. for Chris. I don't know where he is. And Brody, where are you? What time?
We are central, so it is 10 o'clock here in Illinois.
So you guys are doing the heavy lifting here. I'm mid afternoon. What's going on? How's everything going, Chris?
Man, things are so good. Just busy. Like it's a really fun time in the hobby right now. There's two new shops that just opened up in Burbank and David Adams in New York, and yeah, it when you see places open up at retail, it's a good indicator that things are going really well in the hobby.
We've got a whole segment dedicated to PSA today, so we're going to cover all sorts of news. I know there's some new hubs open. There's a policy on cleaning that came out on submissions. So definitely want to touch on some of that. Brody, what's going on, man? How's it going? What are you opening these days, and what's going on with your collecting?
It's going good, man. Opening some wrestling when I can. It's still crazy expensive.
Not a surprise to hear that.
Still crazy expensive. And it's been a minute since they've put out a new set. So tops, we need a new wrestling set. But anyways, it's been good opening some baseball. Baseball season's been great. The White Sox actually look like a competitive team, even if they stink.
My Orioles, not to throw it out there, but 2-1 yesterday.
Yeah, I'm okay. We lose by 1 run. I'm not mad.
We might be racing for the bottom this year, unfortunately. It's been a sad year. You know what? You just brought up something. I'm going to veer off topic real quick. Patch cards in WWE and UFC. Thoughts on patch cards in general, Brody? And do you like to see it in WWE and UFC?
Yeah, I'm excited for that. I think it's great because these wrestlers have big time matches, and I think with especially the higher end sets, Topps will put a note like this is from this specific match at this specific event. I think it's cool. We had some patch stuff with Panini, but not a whole lot of stuff. And with Fanatics being with Topps, they'll be able to get really specific material from the wrestlers. So I think it'll be really cool.
Chris, how often are people, when they're grading, is the patch a real big part of the grading process? I mean, the threads and all that. I mean, does that play into it at all? I've never actually asked.
Yeah, honestly, it's not as big a deal as it was when I was on the manufacturer side. Patches and patch swapping was a major concern when I was at Upper Deck, and while I was there, I was talking with the president, and he was like, "I got something coming down the pipe. I got something that's going to make this better," and I was like, "It better be good, man. Like, this is a problem." And for Upper Deck to share that for Connor Bedard's rookie season, that they are actually slabbing cards and imaging them to create an image database of all the different patches is a really big deal for the hobby, in my opinion. I think that one of the reasons that we didn't do it when I was there is the more you handle cards, the more issues that can the more they're all condition sensitive, right? So you want them to be hard signed. You want the athlete to handle them. The athletes don't always know how to perfectly handle
They're
them.
not exactly graders themselves.
Yeah. So for them to come up with this program is, pretty amazing. It shows the hobby focus. Whereas I think some of the other manufacturers may not be as understanding to the plight of collectors, and how they may have been burned by fake patches or things along those lines in the past. I'm really impressed and happy with what they came up with there for again, Connor Bedard's rookie season in the Cup.
Can you just piggyback on that a little bit? Because I'm not sure people are aware always, because patch cards are so limited. The patch card world can get expensive quickly, and there's some real big niche players. What exactly is faking the patch? What were people doing?
Yeah, so I don't want to give them the secret sauce on how to do it, but
In general, were they taking one out of one card, putting it in
but there
another?
is a way to, you die cut out what patch you want to put into to a card, and there is a way where you could separate the card and remove the patch that's in there. You have to do it very carefully. Obviously, it's more often than not, people totally screw up the card with this type of process, and make a terrible mistake. But there are a few that can actually get this done. And if you take a white swatch, let's say for the Toronto Maple Leafs, and then replace it with a brilliant C for the captain, or something else really unique, that card can sell for 2 to 3 times the value. And uh, there were enough bad actors in the industry that were doing that, that it created a gray market, if you will, where people were creating these augmented cards. And unfortunately, they're not game used, they're not player worn, they're not even photo shoot. They're just some dude grabbed a patch and cut it up and inserted it into a card. So now it sounds like for Upper Deck, they're going to slab the cards and then image them several times over from different angles. So there will be a whole image database. If you pull that card, you can go to their website and enter that serial number, and it will bring up various images of the card, so you know that patch is the patch that was from the manufacturer.
Brody, I'm slow, so let me ask one more question. Then I've got 3 for you, I promise. Mookie asked a question, and this was kind of what I was thinking. Does Upper Deck slabbing them take grading companies out of the process?
We've seen companies do slabbing, so to speak. Leaf has done it. Tops with Luminaries, which is a premium product, does it. And we still get those cards in for submission at PSA. I know other grading companies do too. So not necessarily. I personally, and I'm sure my company would agree, that anything that helps protect the collector is a good thing. So yeah, I think it's awesome. So no, we'll still see those cards come through for grading for sure. But to have it start off in a safe space, I think that's really great.
Brody, you don't submit a lot to grading. You break a lot, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I've noticed, Brody, your PSA account is a little light.
Yeah, Chris emailed me to bring that up earlier. He wanted me to publicly call you out on that. My point is, I hear so many people getting back to just opening packs again. I hear, it's just taking packs to baseball games. Chris, I know you've done that, and opening them in random places. Do you have a routine? Do you like to just take packs with you? As somebody who opens a ton, is it always at the kitchen table, very organized? What type of opener are you?
I open packs everywhere. I mean, I fill my daily rip at this desk. I'll open stuff in the back room when I'm watching, the MLB game or WE things on. But anywhere I go that I think is kind of interesting, I usually have a pack. Like I was at the Admirals game last week and I brought a hockey pack. Any sort of event or anything like that, even like Six Flags or something like that, where it's nice outside and cool stuff's around, I always got a pack in case I want to film something or I just want to open a pack for fun.
You ever tried on a roller coaster?
I mean, I could, but I'd want to do something one card because we better go fast. That would be an epic video, though.
I'm just saying, maybe a good briefcase on there, and no,
upside down on the ride, and we got a little
cool you're gonna need a full protective case for that.
Yeah.
Might not. But in all seriousness, do you ever worry about damaging the cards, or is it about pulling the card for you?
Yeah, I think about it sometimes. I always have a case or something that or I just put them back in the pack. I always have something just to make sure that, if I do pull a big card, that nothing happens. But I mean, I'm never too worried about it.
We just yeah.
you know what? One of the cool things that has happened with the hobby becoming more mainstream is at my son's baseball games, the Snack Shack now sells baseball cards. So they have different Tops boxes and things like that. And most of the kids know me as the card guy. So there will be times when someone will pull a good card from the Snack Shack, and they'll be come running to me like, "Mr. Carlin, what should I do?" And I've started to put Ultra Pro soft sleeves and and card savers and semi rigids in my car, so
That's
I'll
awesome.
bring them out to kids like, okay, just keep it safe because they're, one hand's covered in like nacho cheese sauce and the other one's got the card. So yeah, always have supplies with you.
That's
That brings up my next question. I've seen like 4 articles in the hobby recently on protecting cards, and now that there's one touch, there's top loaders, there's card savers. For raw cards, when you guys are opening, how do you like to just hold them before you do anything with them, or just to put them in a cardboard box? Brody, what do you use?
I usually use top loaders. I mean, I'm not like against card savers and anything. I usually just top loader is just what I have, so I usually end up using a sleeve and a top loader for the most part.
Chris?
Yeah, I have a new thing that I do, and maybe it's like collector ADD, but coming to work for PSA, there's oils on your hands that can transfer to cards. And so now, anytime I'm opening packs, and I just opened up a box with my son last night, I made him wash his hands thoroughly and dry them, and I did the same. I know it's like crazy, but like you have to protect your cards a little bit. So um, that's my new policy before I open product is a thorough hand washing. So again, I know it's a crazy collector thing, but I know that it happens where you can screw up a nice card by having something transferred to it.
I'd be curious in the chat room what people do. I've actually really started to like the one touches with the penny sleeve on the inside, so it
Yeah,
doesn't scratch the card. Also, and that's not for every card in the pack, but for something you pull, it's fun.
I
Save
think
you
if you can
skill.
get it into a penny sleeve, like that's my go-to is like immediately something cool goes into a penny sleeve and just I know it's not totally safe, but it's not raw.
I
I
agree.
just penny sleeve them. Yep, Orlando. I know a lot of people every card into a penny sleeve.
Yeah.
Absolutely. All right. Logan says that he's eating chicken fingers while opening up card packs. I think that's it, you, Chris.
No, like we all do these things. Like I used to eat pizza. Like every breaker night was like, all right, let's get pizza. And like it's the worst thing you can have is greasy hands and extremely collectible cards. Like it's absolutely going to transfer. So I've just gotten weird and a little ADD, I guess, with this.
There's nothing wrong with that in the hobby, by the way. That's
Yeah, I know it's
you are
we're all
amongst your
nerds.
people, Chris. You're amongst your people.
Yeah, yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't say you walked me into the next question here. I think we need to talk a little bit about the Ryan Hogue tweet and the cleaning. If you can comment on it. If not, definitely want to talk about the 2 new facilities that have opened up because I think people don't realize that one is exclusively for tickets in Texas and another one in Florida, and hopefully to speed up turnaround times. So I know people have a lot of questions. Chris, what can you talk about?
Yeah, I mean, we have a team that is always looking at what else can we do at PSA to help collectors on their journey. We have a mission statement: make collecting safe, easy, and fun. It's something I really believe in. Like that's an important mission statement, and we're always looking at what collectors would like from us in terms of services. It's crazy to me how we forget sometimes how different everyone collects. Every collector is different, even though we all are, like you said, like we're all nerds. I'm in a safe space, but we all collect in different ways. I collect different than Brody does. And because of that, it's important for a company like PSA to know, what services do people like. So we frequently put out surveys about collecting habits and what services can we offer that collectors might be interested in. For some reason, this recent survey where we were looking at, a variety of options that we could give collectors has stuck out with one thing that we put on there, which was um, cleaning up the card a little bit, doing some basic uh, cleanup for it. And right now, graders actually do some minor touch-ups to customers' cards when they come in. If someone has a big thumbprint on a card, they'll clean it up a little bit with they're not using solutions or different materials like that. They're using a microfiber cloth and cleaning it up, touching it up. So if people with us having this relationship with eBay, a lot of people now are buying cards directly from eBay. A new service we just launched is buy from eBay and go directly to grading. So you never even touch the card before it goes to grading. So how can you even look at it to properly assess if it needs to be wiped down? So that's honestly the reason that the company put that question in there and wanted to see if people would want a service like that. But for some reason, sometimes the hobby globs on to little things and makes a big deal out of them. So that seems to be the one that has been causing a lot of collector. Well, what are they doing? Why are they cleaning cards? It's simple wipe down service, so not really that big a deal.
Well, it's hobby high school, as we always say. So,
Hobby
uh,
eyes.
can you just talk about the new facilities real quick?
Yeah. So those are pretty exciting. So I'm actually in the process of looking for people to man the Plano, Texas facility. We're going to be interviewing for that shortly. So the roles that I'm looking for are for concierge reps to take in submissions from dealers, from collectors. Not only will this be a ticket grading facility in Texas, it will be a drop off point for collectors. Going to the Dallas Card Show and other shows like that, that it is a hotbed of collecting out there, and for us to have a hub there to allow people to drop off everything from cards to Funkos to tickets, it's a good thing. So PSA, the biggest thing I've been amazed by as I joined this company is how quickly they've been able to scale operations. And it's crazy for graders. Like when we launched Tokyo, we had graders working in our Santa Ana facility for 6 months who were going to be graders in Tokyo. Like that's how much they invest in people. And I think that's pretty amazing and awesome. So it's been really cool to see how big the company has, uh, the levels they've gotten to with a facility in New Jersey that's fully operational and Tokyo. But the craziest thing to me is the grading consistency. That if I take a card uh, for grading and I drop it off in a location, New Jersey, California, or Tokyo, the consistency of the grading is frighteningly accurate. So that's pretty cool to see. I often say like our graders are just a different level. Like it's something I never could do. Like as much as I train myself to look at cards or things like that, like I still miss a crease or little things. And the grader, I'll talk to graders sometimes, and they'll be like, "It's right there. How do you not see this?" I'm like, "I don't know, man. Like you're, that's what they pay you the big bucks for." So Graders are a different animal. It's really cool to see the consistency they have and how good they are at spotting things. But then the other facility will be in Florida, and I think that will be another great opportunity for us to continue to scale and give regionality to get things back to people quicker. So yeah, I think it's going to be exciting to see what comes next.
Awesome. Brody, I'm going to switch over to Fanatics Fest because not that you're going and not that you're an expert on it, but the amount of coverage for not just the card show, but the athletes signing, the interactive wrestling, UFC, all the corporate entertainment. Is that the type of show you could see in the future being more interested in? Does that appeal to you more, or are you a pure just cards only?
I could see it to the general sports fan being the bigger show because, like, the athletes are there and the athletes are doing things there and contests there. I think to the broader sports fan that, maybe they somewhat collect cards, but they're just a huge Patriots fan, so they get to see Tom Brady or whatever. I think it appeals more to them. But I think to the card collectors, it's kind of split. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that like going there, but shows like the National, I think, are still, at least to people like me, that, I mean, I love sports, but I love sports cards too. I think appeals more because of just how much is there in terms of different vendors.
Chris, experiential athlete, initiatives are very hot, and Fanatics is certainly doing that. Upper Deck, continues to sign athletes to deals, and who knows what they're going to be doing with them. Can you just your opinions on where the market's going with actually working with the athletes and what Fanatics Fest is trying to tie that all together?
Listen, I went to Fanatics Fest last year. I had high expectations for it. It blew my expectations out of the water. I have never seen a show like Fanatics Fest. Um, they really tried to make it like a Comic Con. So one of the cool parts about Comic Con is all the people that are in cosplay, that are dressed up, and you feel like when you get there, you're in a different world almost. And so for them to do something cool with regard to having people dress up and giving prizes out for people who are dressed up like their favorite Like I was walking around and I was like, oh, there's the Iron Sheik and there's Tom Brady. Not the real Tom Brady. He was walking around there too. Like it was crazy. One of my favorite pictures I have is I was trying to go down the escalator and Dana White was coming up the escalator with like three state troopers and like this huge crowd, and I'm like salmon going upstream, like there's no way I'm getting down the escalator. And but that's what was so cool. And you're walking around and there's Livy Dunn dressed up as Paul Skeens, and like it's like where am I? And it's a show like I've never seen. It's like it's okay to collect and just be a total nerd for sports you love. I we are not going to be there. PSA is not going to be there, but I'm absolutely, would I choose to take my 12 and 13-year-old to Fanatics Fest or the National? It's Fanatics Fest, and I'm really planning this out. Like, how do I take my kids to this? Because it was again an event like I have never seen before in the hobby. So what I hoped for when Topps was initially purchased by Michael Eisner was, okay, this guy's going to elevate the brand. He's going to do things that have never been done before. He's this entertainment icon. He's going to do these cool things. Well, he didn't. And it took someone like Michael Rubin and his team to elevate it a little bit. And listen, there's a million different things that we can say that we like or don't like about Ruben and Fanatics and the Topps acquisition, but they do some really great things like Fanatics Fest that bring you closer to the hobby you love and closer to the athletes you love. Literally, you could be at a table and you turn to your left and there's freaking the real Tom Brady. Like it's crazy. So I think it's a really special event. I think if you do not go in its infancy, you are going to miss the opportunity uh, to be close to some of these athletes. I think it's just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger, and you'll miss out on how intimate it currently is.
My real big beef with Michael Rubin is I bought an entirely white outfit and have not been invited yet.
Yeah, it's
so
tricky.
I don't know if it's the chicken or the egg. I don't know how this works.
Yeah,
but
No, but I mean, honestly, there's a whole VIP area. Like, when's the last time you saw Jay-Z and Beyonce at a trading card show? Seriously, like, what? And I'm like, there's flipping young Ho, like what's going on here? So, yeah, I think it's a pretty crazy environment that they've created, and a good thing for the hobby for sure.
I went last year and share a lot of your sentiment, but I will say I think this is a pretty fair comment. It sounds like a Super Bowl card show and a baseball all-star game fan fest. Fun event, but not real great for finding cards I needed. I could see that. You're not going to get it's not the National for cards. Strictly for cards at this point, it doesn't compare. You're not going to find rows and rows and rows to go through for set collectors. I didn't get that vibe. I got a vibe of a lot more dealers, a lot more modern, and a lot of the athletes that were actually at the event.
Yes, a lot more modern. So yeah, it is not a vintage card show by any stretch for sure.
Rex, are you guys going? I'm just curious. He says they've expanded their space dedicated to dealers this year. I'd be curious if any dealers on here are going and what they've learned so far. But the autographs are ridiculous. And I know that it was a first year. There were some things to work out on the autograph side, but my understanding is they've worked all that out. Brody, how big are you into autographs if you go to a card show?
I like getting and meeting athletes, but at the same time, like I feel like then it takes away from the card show kind of because I got to dedicate this time and I got to be there at a certain time. But I mean, if it's somebody that people really like, I get why they do it. Definitely.
Do you see the average person, and this is in general, I think the autograph prices have gotten expensive. And I know to get these types of athletes, that there's going to be a cost there. Do you have a break-even point, Brody? Like up to $50, you'll take anybody?
Yeah, I mean, like I think like that $100 range is like, like $100 range, I think is good. I mean, but you see at the National, I'm sure at Fanatics Fest too, some of the people, like Mariano Rivera is like $450. David Ortiz was supposed to be there. I think he was like $500 when he was scheduled. And I mean, yeah, they're Hall of Famers and stuff, but that's a lot of money for a quick little autograph, and it sits on your wall,
Hey, I'm looking at Chris's background. He obviously has no interest in memorabilia or autographs or anything of the kind. Are those signed, any of those?
Oh yeah, they're all signed. And I have never done gotten an autograph at a show, believe it or not. So I am a big believer in send-in signings. So I think those are definitely cool. But nothing that I've got is done at a show. Now, usually it's because I'm busy at shows. Like I'm always working for a manufacturer or with PSA today, so I don't have a lot of extra time to stand in the line. That's the thing that I think just drives people crazy, is that line. Now, granted, the line is filled with collectors and everyone has an interesting story, and so it's good line gossip. It's better than being at Disneyland waiting for a line and a ride in a line. But yeah, it's not something that I've done before.
My son got a couple autographs. I don't do it. I will say those interactions with the athletes, Bo Jackson and Allen Iverson specifically, were so positive. He's going to be a fan of them forever. And they weren't. I mean, they were on the mid to lower end of cost compared to some of the other guys. But after seeing him do it and get the interaction, you're paying for more than the signature. So I just want to say, if you have kids and they have a favorite athlete, or you want to teach them somebody you grew up in your generation. Logan says, in the 20 nationals I've been to, I've only paid for 2 autographs. Who are they, Logan? That's how much I care about meeting athletes and celebrities. Logan, that's because you're a PSA Hall of Famer, dude. You got to, get people to get your autograph.
Well, one thing you just mentioned, Allen Iverson, and going back, just a quick step back to Fanatics Fest. One thing that I found amazing about that show was on Sundays and most trading card shows, you see people start packing up early, and instantly when you walk in on a Sunday to a Saturday, it's a very different experience, right? Because on Sunday, you'll see that already there are booths that are not manned, they're not stationed, there's empty tables, and you're like, wait a second, I paid for this experience and I don't feel like I'm getting my whole thing. At Fanatics Fest, everyone stays till the end. And one thing that they did last year, I was like, this is crazy. They did a panel with Allen Iverson half an hour before the show was set to close on Sunday. And it was amazing. Like, everyone was jam-packed around this Allen Iverson panel. He's just spitting all sorts of amazing knowledge. And the show is still like highly functioning and totally, you felt like Sunday late afternoon was a Friday at 6 o'clock, So I kudos to them for that. I think that was really surprising to me. From getting your bang for your buck for a 3-day pass, to see it still busy on a Sunday was really cool.
Stuke says, some of us old timers were spoiled on the old prices and free events for autographs.
Yeah.
Nothing like talking to George Mikan or Warren Spahn when getting an autograph.
Warren Spahn was great.
Very true. Also, want to give an update on Hobby Hotline in general. Meant to do some housekeeping at the beginning. We are going to the every other week model. So starting in June, it will be the first and third weekends, Saturdays, and that'll help rotate and help with the schedule a little bit. So just want to clear that up. John has made that decision to go to two weekends a month, which is probably more than enough of us anyway. Moving forward, Brody, baseball. Who's the cards? If price wasn't an object, you'd be chasing because there's still runway. There's still some upside.
There's a lot of people this season that have been showing out, and I know I live in Chicago, and Pete Crow Armstrong's having this great year, but not mentioning Pete Crow Armstrong. Cal Raleigh on the Seattle Mariners. I know he's in an interesting market in Seattle, but that man is got a great average for a catcher. He's hitting home runs, and his cards are not that expensive. I love Cal Raleigh. If you're going to invest in somebody, that's my play right there.
And the best nickname in baseball, the Big Dumper.
Love it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think there's any room left on Judge or Ohtani?
I think yes, because Ohtani is still supposed to come back to pitch. And if he comes back and pitches like he was before, I mean, he's the best player in baseball. But then you bring up Aaron Judge, who's hitting 392 right now, and I think is second in home runs or third in home runs. He's having the best year of his career. And we're a fourth in the season, a little past fourth through the season. The fact that he's still hitting 392, I'm not saying he's going to hit 390, but he might certainly finish the year 375 or something like that, which is crazy for this day and age in baseball. So I still see some room, especially with the big market teams that they're on.
Chris, I see Shohei hit 2 homers, much less coming back pitching. And I think, oh my gosh, could we really just be getting started? I mean, what type of runway? I mean, you're out there and have a better feel for the pulse of it. are you seeing? I mean, could there still be?
Yeah, the coolest thing I've done in my life is start going to international baseball games. So as a family, we decided last year. My wife grew up in South Korea, and we went to the MLB. I think it's called the World Tour. So it was the Padres against the Dodgers in South Korea. How awesome! I'm a Padre fan. Hate the Dodgers. Great. And we go there, and the experience is just so different, right? Like you're in a there's you could just a simple difference. Like there's so many when you're sitting in the stands, but you could buy a beer, or you could buy a 6-pack of beer, or you could buy a case of beer and take it to your seat and, and drink it. Like that's how they offer it up. So all these little things, there's cheerleaders, there's songs for different players, and for my family and my kids to experience that, it was so cool. But it was Shohei. Shohei was out there, and it was a big deal. And people flew in from Japan to Korea to try to see Shohei. It's the closest he's going to be, and it was a huge deal. And then this year we went to Japan. We went to the Tokyo series, and the one thing that my kids could not get over was right when we got off the plane to when we got on the plane again. When you go to Japan, Shohei is everywhere, like everywhere. Watch commercial, just everything you could think of for an athlete to promote, he's doing it, and it's a whole different level of fandom for Otani, and rightfully so. Like he hit a home run there, and the other thing that was interesting about Japan that was different than Korea is everyone is deathly silent between pitches. So they do that out of respect to the batter. And so it was just a different way to watch a baseball game, I guess. But when he hit one of his home runs there, people went crazy. Like, so it goes from deathly silent to pandemonium. So it was a different way to watch a baseball game, a different experience. But long story short, the worldwide interest in this player is something like I've never seen before. And I gave out I think it's funny. I know this sounds terrible, but as a Padre fan, I think it's really fun to give Angels cards of Shohei Otani to Dodger fans. Like it's just like a little jab I can do. But they love it. They're so excited to get them. So it's funny that Shohei went to such a rival. So um, I loved giving out Shohei cards there, but it was like I was handing out $50 bills, and I brought like $2 Shohei cards, stuff from like National Baseball Card Day and things like that. But it might as well have been that I'm handing out gold bricks there, like that is how much people think about something with his face on it in Japan. And it's not just Japan, like he's all over the world. So he is that Michael Jordan-esque type player, Tiger Woods in his prime type player. And yeah, I think you're right, Brody. I think there's still a ceiling. The ceiling hasn't been reached for him. If he goes back to pitching for the Dodgers and they win another championship, like game over. I don't even know. Like I've got Shohei cards. I'm looking at a box of them right now, and there's no way I would sell those right now. Like no way in a million years, because I know that the ceiling has not been reached for this guy, and it's amazing to watch. Like how cool is it that we were born in the time where you've got Wayne Gretzky, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, Shohei Otani, like insane.
Absolutely. I definitely talk about generational players. And Brody, I'm curious of your opinion. I think it's Shohei clearly for this generation. And I think it was Trout before that. The Trout market has softened a ton. Um, Better investment right now, Trout or Shohei for where their prices are.
Trout is interesting. Obviously, just came back, but he was struggling before he got hurt. I mean, he was hitting for power, but the average was down. But Otani, like Chris said, Otani is everywhere and is that generational guy. I still think Trout was, best player in baseball for 10 years, and that was like the face of baseball. But Otani's like more than the face of baseball now. Otani's like the face of sports.
Oh, without a doubt. And to Chris's point, what it's doing in Asia is only going to become more and more like that in the USA. So I don't think that's. I think Trout is going to be a Hall of Famer. I think his upside is probably more the end of his career when people look back. I think as long as he keeps going on and off the IL, his market will be up and down with that.
Speaking of players who have dipped a little bit, Trout was at the apex for a long time, and then he's dipped with his injuries. But another player, like I just bought a card yesterday of this player, and it has dipped so much from a little steroid scandal. So Fernando Tatis Jr., like in my opinion, one of the most electrifying players in baseball. Just you never know what's going to happen when he gets up to bat or when the balls hit his way. So fun to watch, plays with such passion, still very young. And his cards took a very serious dip. And I'm a big believer in buying Tatis Jr. right now, just because there's some great deals to be had on a player who is absolutely electric, who's healthy, and who I think is still going to do some amazing things.
You like him more than Jackson Merrill?
Danny, it's like asking me who's my favorite son. I like
You can answer either question.
I
Chris.
like them both in different ways, Danny. Don't make me choose.
How about Machado?
Machado is my favorite. So yeah, he's number one. Yeah.
Oh, he's a former Oriole, so I understand that.
Yeah, he gets a bad beat, and I've told this story to a few people, but I'll share here publicly. I don't think I've ever shared this before. So, my youngest son had just a wacky thing after COVID happened. He was on the playground and bumped heads with another kid, playing tag, and he didn't realize it at the time, but they hit heads so hard that he fractured his skull, severed an artery, and had a brain bleed. And he's at school, so it's they're out of COVID, and it's the first time you can go to recess again, and this thing happens. So I got to call at work that there's a problem because he's crying and he doesn't know what's going on, and they didn't know what's going on. Like it's not like there's blood, and my wife goes and picks him up and takes him to the emergency room. And at the time, you could only be one family member in there because it was still COVID. And the weirdest thing happened where a side door opened in the hospital, and I was outside, and a nurse waves me in, and she's like, "You have to come say goodbye to your son." And I was like, "This is nuts." That surreal moment as a dad, like, what is going on here? And they had to medevac him to Rady Children's Hospital in San Diego. He had emergency brain surgery. Everything's fine. Like he just came up and gave me a hug. He's on his way to baseball practice. Amazing that children are so resilient. But here's the Manny Machado part of this. Manny Machado ends up when he moves out here, he's staying in Coronado, and he rents a house right next to my in-laws in Coronado. And my father-in-law is a huge Padre fan, and Manny is out there walking the dog with Yane, his wife, and my father-in-law is on the porch, waves to him, and they're like, "Hey, what do you do?" And he goes, I work for the Padres." And my father-in-law is like, "Oh, I love the Padres. What do you do?" And he goes, "I play third base." And my father-in-law about dies. But so they strike up a friendship, right? And they share that my son had this experience, and my son loves playing baseball. He was playing outfield, and he wanted to go back and play, but they made him wear like a John Olerud hard hat out there, just to protect his skull when he's in the field. And he thought that was the worst thing ever. Like, everyone's going to think I'm weird, what have you. Well, Manny hears about this, and he says, "Bring Drew down." So we bring Drew down to Coronado. He's got to play a game later that day. He doesn't want to wear this helmet. Manny signed the helmet and gave it to Drew and said, "Hey, little guy, keep this on your head until you're feeling better. I got you." And for him to show up to the game with a Manny Machado autographed helmet that he's out there playing in was the coolest thing ever for a guy to do. And you know, there's a lot of stories about players that are good and bad, but I want to collect cards. I want to collect things from people who are good. And I tell you what, Manny plays hard on the field, and there's a lot of things like, oh, he's a jerk. He plays too hard. He's too serious, what have you. But off the field, he's a really special individual. So that's my. I might have made Manny Machado cards more expensive now because they're actually a pretty good deal. But I think he is just one of the most special guys in the game.
I love that story. Philly Joe says, awesome story, Chris. A plus. You have not shared that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Real quick, and Brody, I'll throw this to you. Any living guy is going to get to 500 home runs? Rex is asking. And I love this question because Trout's at 387. Stanton's the only player with more than 400. Most people would think Judge is. Does Judge have 50 homers in him for 6 more years? Or
yeah, I think Judge will. It might be close because he's a little bit older, but I think he will. I think Trout has a shot, but he'd have to stay healthy, and that hasn't really been happening. So we'll see. But I think Ohtani could too. I think Ohtani could. Machado has 348. I could see Machado if he has
1 year, and he's 1 year younger than Trout and Judge, which I didn't realize.
I could see Kyle Schwarber too because he DHs every day, so he'll have a long career, and he's already at like 300 something.
Well, I think that's the issue with Stanton and Trout. Somebody put in the chat earlier, availability is the biggest ability, and there's some truth to that for staying on the field. And Shohei, because of the DHing, will get the at-bats, but I don't know that hopefully he doesn't get hurt again.
Yeah.
So, all right, I want to wrap it up on the home stretch here. I had something I wanted to specifically ask, and of course I can't remember. NBA Finals, NBA playoffs, real quick. Cards and players that obviously SGA has helped his market a lot, but who else in the NBA are you guys excited about, or you think turned the corner in the playoffs?
Obviously Tyrese Halliburton has shown some great flashes. That guy is really fun to watch. He does it all. He has down games, like in Game 5, he didn't really do much, but he doesn't turn the ball over. Great fundamental player. I'm going to throw one at you that you might not know much about. Terrence Shannon Jr., Minnesota Timberwolves, started getting some minutes in Game 3 and Game 4 of that series, and he's electric off the bench. He is going to be a huge part of the Timberwolves going forward, so keep that name in the back of your minds.
I think it might be a pump and dump, but I like the tip.
He's an Illinois legend. I love Terrence.
Okay. There we go.
I've had something controversial to say about NBA playoffs.
Go for it.
No. This needs to be made clear. This is me as Chris Carlin, the person, not Chris Carlin from PSA. So my take on the NBA playoffs is screw the NBA playoffs. Are you watching the NHL playoffs? Connor McDavid is in the NHL final. Like, we've been waiting for this forever. And the Florida Panthers are flipping good, man. Like, this is going to be maybe one of the best NHL final series in history. Like, this is basketball. Like, you watch basketball the last 4 minutes of a game and you get what's happening. Hockey, you watch the whole entire thing. Watch the NHL final, people. That is going to be special. And if you've got Connor McDavid cards, if he hoists the cup, if he hoists the Stanley Cup, pandemonium. Like, all your McDavid cards are going to go exponentially higher, because what I've learned in this hobby, I've been doing this a long time, collecting is a cold weather hobby. Okay? So if you're in Boston, there's a better hobby area. That's a better hub than San Diego, California, where you go outside and there's things to do. So if you're inside and it's an inside hobby, collecting is bigger in those markets. All of Canada is cold. Like everyone collects cards. Tim Hortons, you go to Tim Hortons, there's 2 different Upper Deck offerings a year where you buy your coffee, your donut, and you get a hockey pack. So I'm telling you all, watch the NHL final, and if Connor McDavid wins the Stanley Cup, holy cow, what that will do for the industry. It's gonna be wild.
Can I ask a question? How quickly will you see an increase in submissions? Is it within days? Does it take a couple of weeks to see it? I mean,
no, it's just like the hobby. Like if you go on eBay, like cards, it's always kind of gruesome that when an athlete dies, there's a whole bunch of new eBay listings. You know, Ricky Henderson was one of the more recent ones that I can remember. But it's similar to if an athlete does something great, or if an athlete wins, gets in the Hall of Fame, or they get a little bump. But Connor McDavid, man, he is the Shohei Ohtani of Canada. He's on every commercial. He's everywhere. Working at Upper Deck, I was always impressed by, he's not like a fun guy to hang out with. Like he's just hockey all the time. Like Wayne Gretzky will tell you some interesting stories. Connor's like, all right, let me get this done, and then I'm going to move on to my next thing, and then I got to get back to hockey. So he is that player that is just totally dedicated to the sport. But man, I hope he gets it. It would be a lot of fun to watch.
Awesome. Brody, you follow the hockey playoffs?
A little bit. I was a little sad when my
Brody, watch the final.
I will. The Jets getting out kind of made me sad. I'm a big Jets guy. I don't know why,
Okay.
but I think it'll be great. Especially it'd also be the first Canadian team to win the cup in 34 years or whatever. So it'll be interesting. Also got Matthew Tkachuk, maybe my favorite player in the league. I love Matthew Tkachuk. That guy is a beast.
You're right there.
First of all, anytime we can work Tim Hortons into a conversation, it's a good show. Just send the coffee and donuts. Good comment here. Shay is also from Canada. Yes. What was the stat that you guys might have heard? Also, 7 out of the last 8 NBA MVPs are international players. So just following the theme that we were talking about earlier on international collecting and international excitement, it's more than just Shohei. I think we're seeing it in all of it. Orlando, who is in Florida, says Panthers are underrated. 3rd year in a row playing for the Cup. Excellent point.
They're a really good team. Yeah, totally agree.
Mick Abel, debut MLB patch game, thousands of cards sold that day. Interesting on Mick Abel. All right. My favorite question. What are you guys going to be doing for the hobby in the next week or two? If it's applicable, Chris, anything for Father's Day hobby related? I'll start with you.
For Father's Day, I just found out that I went to a trading card show in San Diego, front row card show, and a little shout out to them. Holy cow, any front row show you go to, like, it is a really cool experience. They bring dealers and people. So we were super surprised. It was the best show PSA's had in the San Diego area. But at the hotel we were at, there were a few things going on. One was there was a boxing match that night. So I got back from the show exhausted and grabbed my kids, go back down to the venue and take them to a boxing match. So fun. Like it was great. They should do more of that at trading card shows, have a boxing match on the side. But they were promoting a brunch for Father's Day, and I'm a big brunch guy. But it's a Ron Burgundy brunch. So the dads can dress up as Ron Burgundy. There's a Ron Burgundy lookalike contest, and I've already got 3 buddies. I'm like, don't tell our wives what we're doing. Like, we're just tell them that we want to go have brunch here, and then we'll have our Ron Burgundy costumes in the bag and go in the bathroom and change. So that's my Father's Day plans. But it all came from a trading card show, so that was pretty funny.
Real quick, we get one more question in. Eventually, will Boca Raton PSA accept submissions? Orlando lives 20 minutes from there, and is
Yeah, we got you, Orlando. Yeah, I'll be hiring people to take. Why don't you apply, Orlando? Come on.
Yeah, Orlando, you're overqualified. You can do
He is very overqualified.
this.
But yeah, I mean, we're I'm looking for good people in Texas and Florida who can take really good care of collectors. So if you're interested, collectors.com/careers. My shameless plug of the day.
Brody, what are you breaking? What are you going to? Are you done with baseball yourself for the season? Where does it stand?
Finished with high school ball, starting travel ball next week, but it's the summer, so I don't got to worry about school. So a lot more.
Wait. Brody, my son plays baseball too. He's in the travel ball team. I thought when you get to high school, like that's all you do. You still play travel ball?
Yeah, it's kind of different, like the way it works, but yeah.
Just never ends. Every one of my Saturdays and Sundays is used.
Well, to be fair, when I played, I didn't play for my high school. I only played for the travel team because it got ridiculous with going to games and stuff.
It's nonstop.
Yeah, I wasn't going pro, and I wasn't missing a scholarship. I'm sorry, Bertie, go ahead.
Chris, you could call my mom or dad anytime and have a conversation about there being too many baseball games because they understand it, and I hear about it all the time.
It's like being a hockey mom. Yeah, it's a whole thing.
All right, guys. Well, I appreciate it. The three of us seem to have a regular monthly meeting, so I'm sure we'll be getting together soon. Philly Joe, I'm trying to get these last couple comments in here. Thank you. Orlando, make sure you apply.
Yes.
Good luck to you guys coming up. Chris, keep dodging those darts, buddy. You're doing a good job.
Appreciate it.
All right. To everybody else, thank you. And as soon as I find the right buttons, we're out of here. Have a good one. Take care.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Danny. Thanks, Brody.